Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here on this lovely Thursday for episode 3 of Blood on the Reik. With me today is the full cast and crew. We have Cherry Bob-omb, we have the tweeter of Vecna himself, we have Sheepdog and his wonderful blanket, and of course we have Simon, our illustrious GM. That being said, guys, if you want to interact directly with the show, please check out that donation section down below for things you can donate uniquely to this show. And with that, Simon, take us away.
All right.
Into the world of Warhammer.
Yep. So we're playing Warhammer 4th edition. This is our third session, I think. Yes, it's our third. Oof. And, well, I'm not going to do the recap, that's for sure. I'll leave that up to you guys. But we are playing a short campaign called Blood on the Reik. It takes place in Reikland and in the region surrounding Reik. For those that missed the other episodes, basically the backstory is the Lord of the Land has been acting a bit crazy recently, going so far as to infringe on the life of his servants, is the population that inhabits his territory, all of that to get in the good graces of the mayor of a major free city nearby, who the Lord wishes to annex to his territory. But before we go further into the game, what do Enders remember that happened last time?
I feel like we should have Cherry do the recap. That's what I feel like.
Sure.
I was drunk on the river.
That's probably true. So, in episode 1, we heroically slayed several undead, impressively rescuing the priestess named Gertrude. And then we took her back to town, whereupon we presented her to the town's mayor, or the guy who runs the town. And he held basically a press conference that said, hey, religion says you shouldn't tax us like crazy and do all these other crazy laws. And then we definitely didn't steal a sword. There was definitely no bleeding all over a blacksmith. There was definitely some seduction of someone's wife. That happened. There was no more fish pants ale made. And then we...
Thank God.
Yeah. And then we got a better boat. That's true. Someone did drink it. We got a better boat and headed downstream, paid for by the church, and we definitely found a floating, bloated corpse. And that's where we start today's episode, staring down the barrel of a corpse.
Well, since that corpse was also naked, your phrase of staring down the barrel might not be appropriate, but...
Damn it. I forgot that.
Yep. So, you were on a boat escorting Gertrude to Reik, where she needs to speak with with Graf von Brunner. Yes, Sterling von Brunner, about all the legality of all the laws and decrees he's passed over the last year or so. Nothing was done officially, nothing was done through the proper channel, nothing was approved either by the Church of Sigmar or the Emperor, or even consulted with the Church of Verena, which, as the goddess of law, justice, and knowledge, she happens to have this sort of... she doesn't necessarily own dominion over anything law-related, but it's always good to have, it's like a notary. It's like a religious notary. That is always a good idea to have their blessing when you want to do stuff, with the laws of the land and all that. That being said, you're in your boat, which is a lot sturdier than the first one, and you were going downstream to Reik. It's been about a day and a half. And in distance, a few yards away in front of you, you notice that the river sort of, the stream slowed down, because the river in this part of the land anyway, where the river is a bit more shallow, there is a dead horse mounted by a dead naked person. And by naked, I mean almost completely stark naked. They've left their undergarments, but whoever did whatever, the person doesn't even have any clothes on. You're too far away to examine the wounds on the person, but at least you can easily identify that it is a human male that was killed.
That's not something you see every day.
It's a little less than I saw of you.
You're welcome.
Why is this body here?
It is laundry day.
He's on a horse. I've seen you do your laundry and do you do your laundry on a horse?
I don't have
How do you manage? Never mind. I think you'd do your laundry anywhere if you could figure it out.
There you go. You got it. See? You rode the
Poor
horse
horse.
down to the stream. Got a good washing. Got attacked by mercenaries, and now he's dead.
It would actually look like it, especially since there is a puddle of red liquid that formed around the horse.
Did this? So, like, I'm not a. You know what? I'm around dead fish all the time, and things that float on rivers.
Yeah,
Is
smell.
this bloated and smelly, or is this just like recently deceased looking? Is this
It
a fresh
looks
caught naked
more-
man, or
It looks recently deceased.
okay?
The corpse isn't. Well, the horse got bloated because it's lying, halfway in the water,
Right.
lying on its side. The human, from what you can see, is a bit more sunburnt than bloated. You're not a doctor in any way, but you could probably guess that it's been maybe a day or so.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I think your voice is that. It says it's not a. It's fairly recent, yeah. It's probably like a day or so.
Well, we didn't see it on the way down, right?
Different river, love.
Oh,
They all look the same to me.
I'm gonna look and see if there are any black winds around.
Not around this part. The purple wind of death is nearby, but that is, something that is common enough around graveyards, around dead bodies. Like, it's just the purple wind is the wind of death, and not necessarily death, not in the evil necromantic sense. It's just, death and decay is the purple wind. You would see, and it's even hard to see, even if you were to go to the biggest cemetery in the Empire, you would find faint traces of that wind. It's not, compared to the dark wind, Dar, that is attracted to chaos magic and necromancy and all that, the purple wind is just, it's chilling there.
Just chilling.
Sometimes, someone dies, there might be a small breeze in that direction, but it's not, it follows almost like a pattern.
Gotcha. All right.
At least that this person wasn't killed by foul magic.
Yeah. Good news, guys. At least chaos magic wasn't involved this time.
Oh, that's so much more comforting.
Yeah, that's something I worry about every day.
It's still an issue, but at least it probably doesn't get up.
And Gertrude says, well, good. I was starting to think that everything that died around these parts would get up.
Not gonna lie, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just on Tuesdays.
Still nothing.
It's a joke.
Oh. Alright. Okay. Good. Tell you what. Here's how I solve this. And he starts rowing past the course. If anyone wants to stop, you can stop me. If not...
Perhaps we should ready any weapons, just in case whatever did that is still around.
Right.
Hamidir puts one hand on her dagger, one on her club, just looking around.
It's the closer you get to the body, the more apparent the wounds are. And they are clearly not animal bites or claws or what have you. The man was killed probably through multiple stabs or cuts, mainly to one side of its body more than the other. The side that is actually not lying in the water. Because apparently even killers in this world keep attacking the left side for some reason. The horse's throat has been slit. That's where all the blood came from. You as a fence, Clementia, you know of, the authorities and who they are and where they are and where they patrol. So you know of a group hired by the Empire called the Road Wardens. They're basically the highway patrol of Warhammer.
Gotcha.
And they can be identified by either papers, uniforms, a brand, a mark, a tattoo, which is what this one has.
The body has
on a shoulder the mark of the Order of the Road Wardens of Reikland. Whoever killed that person essentially is a cop killer.
Well, whoever did this seems to be rather lawless. Not that all of us are above that. But, keep your eye on.
Is that a joke?
No, he.
I think by definition, once you murder someone, you're lawless.
Well, of course.
It's against polite company to murder anyone.
Yes, but somebody willing to do it to somebody so publicly that will be accounted for is a little bit different.
Do you know the man?
Just who he works for.
Does Anders know that symbol at all? Or is this like foreign to him?
You know what? Anders, Gangolf, and Clementia, or even Galarian, you have seen this Road Warden before.
Oh, this one in particular.
He, now that we're all close to the body, well, you've never seen that person naked, but you sort of recognize the face.
Wow.
You've seen him. All right. The three of you recognize the face. Clementia recognized the shape of the bum. And she knew exactly who we were faced with.
Oh, no. Faced with.
I knew it was from
Phase.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Jerry. This is exactly what you missed last week.
Reckon I've seen those cheeks before. Sorry, that was easy.
That's what Jerry
The first episode was so much more serious.
Oh, God.
So
Okay.
it is the body of a fairly old, in that profession anyway, a man approaching his 50s called Johan. You've seen him, ride through town from time to time, maybe purchasing. He might have bought fish from you, Anders, at some point. He stopped at Galarian's hut from time to time, make sure he was okay. Gangolf must have seen him as he was working on a house or what have you. He was a fair man, nothing too typical about him, nothing that would, mark them out in a crowd necessarily, if not for the uniform and the status that comes with it. Unfortunately, this uniform and the status does not prevent this Road Warden from being savagely, brutally murdered.
This poor average white guy.
Yep. With white hair. He could have been an analyst on Fox. Okay. That was, yeah.
Wow.
I'm in a jesty mood, so I have to be careful. But that's what it is. And you roll past them with relative ease. Unless you wanted to stop or anything.
Do we know his name by chance?
Johan.
Okay, you did say that.
Johan. Yep. Johan.
Got it. And what's their group called?
The Road
That's
Wardens.
what I thought.
As a matter of fact, Road Wardens are outfitted by the Empire. And you remember, this person in particular, had a sword, probably a rapier, because it was fancy and ornate, but also had a brace of pistols, a horse, armor. The type of person that normally should have been able to stand their ground in a fight. And
Technically,
be
he still has a horse.
Yeah, if you a functioning horse, I meant.
Yeah, I think once Clementia begins to point out that it was more than just murder; it was more murder of someone vaguely important, and we kind of recognize who it is. Andres looks to Clementia and says, "Is it? Did they rob him? Seems like an elaborate person to rob."
Sword, that gun, it would be hard to pass those items off, but yeah.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be. He would have been armed to the teeth, no?
Armed to the teeth, and those items would, they'd come to somebody like me that could get them to somebody that wouldn't care where they came from.
You reckon we're looking for more than one person?
More than one person, or somebody who's very talented.
I don't want to look for either.
No.
Rolling much faster.
Not at all.
And thus you roll past the body of the Road Warden. The rest of the day is mainly uneventful. As jarring as this discovery was, by the time the sun is about to set, you have gotten off the river, lit up a small campfire, as you did the day before. Probably fished for food. Yep.
While we're traveling, any food that we do have, I want to be casting Conserve on.
Oh, nice. So you're going to roll your spellcasting checks?
Sure. It's cantrip, so...
Oh, okay, so there's no chance of you invoking the dark powers?
No, there's not.
Okay. Then don't roll.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, also I have a talent that makes it real hard for me to...
to screw up?
Yeah.
All right.
What does conserve do?
It makes it to where food doesn't rot. So each casting, you preserve up to a day's worth of rations. During this time, they will not rot, develop mold, or go stale, although they can still be harmed by external factors such as getting wet or being burned or poisoned.
So, I just imagine the scene where Andres he fishes, and then you're like, wait, no, and you cast a spell over it. You're like, okay, it's good now, we're done. And then he just cooks all of those fish immediately because Andres is only catching enough fish for each of you to eat that at that time. He just catches 5 fish, and that's it. And he just takes your magical fish and puts them on the fire.
Gertrude has rations on her that she had purchased, so she'll welcome the casting of conserve, but to have fresh fish even for the rest of the trip, because it's only been 2 days, you guys still have to go on for another 2. You are camping near a small wooded area. If you want to look on Roll20 for those that have the map, you would be here. Here. I'm trying to ping it.
I can see it. You're pinging it.
Okay, cool.
There we go. Yeah.
So
we're heading to Uber Street.
To Uber Strike, yeah. So basically, by the end of the day tomorrow, you should reach the outskirts of Uber Strike, what is essentially almost another town the size of Sledlong. though there's no centralized like town square or anything because it's technically part of the suburbs of Ubersreik, mainly farms and such. But there is, you remember, well, the travelers among you anyway, remember that there is a coaching inn that you could sleep in instead of sleeping on the rough, and then head on to Ubersreik, first light in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be the easy way. Nothing is ever easy in the old world. And while you're eating your supper that night, you hear the clacking of hooves coming up from the forest.
Oh boy.
Seems like there are 3 horses. They're not running, they're just walking clearly in your direction. They veer off the road and they keep walking at a steady pace. The 3 figures mounting them seems to be the first one. Well, at least 2 of them look to be human. The 3rd one is either a child or probably a halfling. They are dressed in long brown coats with high collars. One of them has a trihorn, another one has a wide-brimmed hat, and the smaller child only has a hood up from that is probably stitched to the coat. They don't seem to be armed or armored, for that matter, but they do wear, long leather riding boots, and the rest of their gear is, you're too far away, it's too dark to see properly, but they're at least well dressed, well put, if not a bit intimidating in their stance. And they walk toward you without a sound. Well, I mean, without uttering anything, without saying anything. They're about 20-ish yards from you by the time you see them just move a bit in their saddle. What do you do?
He has nothing worth stealing, so he's not really afraid of these guys. He has fancy shoes, and theirs are already fancier, and that's about it.
Kamichi's gonna keep her club at her side, like in a non-threatening manner, just at her side, cautiously. Walk. At least stand up and say hello. Who goes there?
All right. They identify themselves as road wardens in the service of Graf von Brunner.
Oh.
And we have a few questions for you.
Yes, Sam. I'm sure we've got more answers than we want to today. What can we help you with?
The halfling, which you recognize now once they dismount from what is not a horse, but a pony. It is a halfling. They're not even wearing boots. What you thought were their boots before are actually just their bare feet. And they have like rolled up pants, which look almost like shorts, really. And the third figure, so the one, like the last one of the 3, will remain in the back, holding on to the horses. And the first person, the human, speaks up and calls himself Philip.
You want to pick up some dirt there?
No, it's all right.
Don't have a chair dollar for you, but...
I'll stand.
All right. I'll keep sitting.
You're traveling on the roads or the waterways?
He kind of points to the boat. The water.
He turns to the halfling and says, waterways. And the halfling searches in its pouch, gets a scroll out, Furls it. Reads. You hear him mutter. Yeah, that's 1 silver or the equivalent, boss. Philip turns to you and says, by order of Graf von Brunner, anyone operating on the waterways must pay a travel tax of 1 silver per person or the equivalent. Failure to comply will result in further fines or a beating.
Comanche just kind of looks at the priest. I thought we covered this in our fees with the boat warden. There's so many wardens and fees to take care of. Shouldn't you only be taxing the roads and everything that comes through there? What has you concerned with the waterways? Are we mixing our businesses now? This is all a little confusing for some of us, simple townsfolk. She winks.
You notice the halfling shift visibly from one foot to the next, looking at Philip. And Philip says, this is none of your concern, ma'am.
It's my concern if it's my money and the fact that I've already paid to be on the waterways for as long as I am.
Do you have a proof of that? A receipt?
I don't remember.
I feel like receipts aren't a thing in Sledlung.
There was never any question of a receipt or anything.
Yeah.
In fact, there was never any question of having to pay for using the waterways. This is Anders. This is the first time ever that you've heard of that.
Yeah.
When did these laws go into things? I never saw a notice. The river warden back where we came from was rather friendly and seemed like she would update us on such things. I'm just confused why road wardens are concerned with the riverways when it seems like they should be handling it, not you. Just trying to make sure I give my money to the right people and not double dip, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure if you go back to Sledlung, her name's Rosa. She's a lovely woman. Future wife. Or ex-wife. If you play my cards right.
Jesus Christ. Comanche, can you make a cool check?
Sure. Maybe. Yeah. Very
Right.
cool. Feeling real cool.
The
Thank God.
yeah, you notice that the fact that you are not scared of them and didn't obey right away sort of put them off guard. And they seem, it seems like they're not used to having someone stand up to them. And one of them, Philip turns to the halfling and says, well, looks like a higher fine it is. And he goes in to, puts a hand near his breast. And that's when you hear a thud.
Can I put him down silently instead?
Yeah, sure. That's when you hear nothing at all. And he draws a pistol, points it in your direction, and says, I think y'all gonna pay the fine.
Can I try and sneak up on this guy?
That's going to be harder.
Yeah.
Because there's two of them, and there's the light of the campfire.
Though I am behind them, and their attention is focused on the party who is being defiant.
Mm-hmm. I would say instead of doing it with a +20, that would be a straight check.
Oh. Alrighty.
Oh, God damn it.
This would be a
that.
moment to re-roll.
I am going to use a fortune point to re-roll that.
I mean, are you sure? You could fumble, put your hand on the pistol, have it fire.
I'm
Shoot
good.
yourself.
I'm good. Let's see here. Hey,
It's better than a fumble.
Better, I guess.
So
Oh gosh.
here's what's going to happen. The 3 other members of the party will see Galarian approach stealthily. He appears out of nowhere. He's behind the other 2. And you notice he seems to have... What were your intention? Were you aiming for one of the 2 going closer to the halfling, the human?
The one with the gun, the halfling?
All right. The halfling doesn't have the gun. It's the human that has
the human has the gun. Okay, yes. Then
So you're veering closer to the human.
Mm-hmm.
What do the other people do? Gangolf, Anders, and Clementia. Right before something happens.
Where's the priestess?
Gertrude seems to be analyzing the situation. She's hanging back. You notice that she was about to get money from her gold pouch.
Right.
And then when she heard you speak, she's like squinting and looking at them. And you notice she is unsure. She is unarmed, however.
Okay, I'm gonna start to raise my club, but look at Gangolf, hoping whoever's closest to her is gonna look after her while I'm watching Galarian here go for it. I'm gonna just try to knock out Philip.
Okay,
Right
you're gonna go try to knock out Philip. What about Anders and Gangolf?
Anders rolls over, and under his ass is the shield he was sitting on.
Ooh,
And he rolls over and just hides behind his shield.
you son of a bitch.
Because, I don't know if you know this, but he's allergic to bullets.
Yeah, lead poisoning is a thing.
yeah.
Gangolf will be back a little ways. He hasn't come forward to talk with them. He's leaving it to everyone else. And he'll be close to the priestess, whose name we've said, but I can't remember.
Gertrude.
Gertrude.
There it is. I remember.
You knew it the whole time.
Knew it the whole time. But I was not expecting us to attack road wardens. So
Look who's lawless now.
yeah.
No, it's still Clementia.
Hey.
It's always been Clementia.
Yeah. Still
What?
on.
They're asking for a fee that they don't even have a right to take. At that point, I'm
I
fighting
mean,
for my
we
money.
don't know that. It could be very legitimate.
Eh.
I mean,
With the shifting, Clementia isn't buying it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like we've kind of made our choice. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is like, if once things pop off, Gangolf will be in the mix and joining in. But
I
Yeah.
have a question for you, Simon.
Mhm.
So they've been here talking for a minute, and Anders has been mostly quiet, and now he's behind his shield, and he feels real safe because he doesn't really know how bullets work. Does their uniform look like it matches?
Make a perception check.
Okay, that's a button I can click. There it is. Success.
You notice that they all wear the same uniform in the sense that they wear one uniform split amongst the three of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Ah,
That's what Anders was thinking.
not really lawless.
Yeah, that's what Anders was thinking. And from the cover of his shield that he is hiding, and I assume it's only probably like a 1.5 feet wide, like round shield that Gangolf got for him. So he's hiding a full-size man behind the tiniest fucking targe, and he just shouts out from behind it. They're friends with our friend, the nudist.
what?
Oh. Clementia falls.
And that's when, Clementia charges forward with the club, trips on the root, misses. Galarian steps on a branch, makes noise.
Perfect.
can I still roll to the melee brawl to try and get the spell off, or?
Well, that would have been your surprise round. So now we're going to go into initiative. And yes, you can still try to do it. Do you all remember what initiative is?
No.
No, because we've never used it.
Right.
So it's a D10 plus your initiative bonus.
D10.
I'm going to use it that way because it's easier than the actual rules, because otherwise we're going to be here all night. So initiative is the I stat on your sheet. You just roll a D10 and I add your the first digit of your I, which for me means it's a 12. That's a 6, a 10.
That's an 11, actually. That's supposed to be a +3, not a plus.
11? All right. So 6, 11. So far, they're going first.
Plus 4. Enter. Not great.
And what about you, Clementia?
D10 +3. Yeah.
They're going to play first. And then you can all go whichever order you want, since we're not, splitting between you and the bad guys or anything. So you can talk amongst yourselves, decide who goes first. But Philip with the pistol is going to aim and fire at one of you.
Bum, bum, bum.
Not Galarian, because he hasn't heard you. The halfling heard you.
Mhm.
Philip is focused on either Anders, Gandalf, Gertrude, or Clementia. In that very order, he's firing at Gandalf.
I would just like to say I have done nothing, and I am not looking like aggressive or anything. I'm at the back. I'm just like standing there.
Child with a blanket.
Tried to hit him. I'm not
Sorry,
trying
I looked at you.
to get
It's
shot.
my fault.
You know what? You make a good point. You make a very good point. So I'll roll a D3 instead. There's no sense in firing at a kid.
I would also argue the priestesses. Okay.
Oh no, he would fire at the priestess.
Well, I was saying she wasn't aggressive like the other two.
No, but she's she's allowed to hang them if something happens.
I just want to
So
say, at the beginning of a session, if your DM says, hey, what are your short-term goals? And you say, weapons and armor for everyone, don't be surprised when he throws a bunch of people with weapons and armor at you.
the thing is
Simon, you
I didn't. This bit isn't improvised because of the goals you gave me
I
before.
know.
It just so happens that it coincides. Now the thing is can you survive and get your armor?
No.
Is what I'm worried about.
Who's got the bow?
They have bullets. There's so many of them. All right.
Philip
how do
fires at 80. Fires and misses. Anders completely. The shot goes wide. He drops the pistol because fuck reloading with things like that. And that's all of his actions. The halfling next to him draws a dagger and turns around to try to stab Galarian in the thigh.
Do I roll dodge or?
You can roll dodge if you want to. I rolled an 8. I think I should actually roll on roll 20. It's going to be simpler, even though I have to type it out all the time. But I rolled an 8, which means that he has 3 degrees of success.
And dodge will help reduce that or something?
If you roll more than 3 success levels on dodge, you completely dodge it. However, you could decide to roll like melee, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And if you succeed more than me, then not only do you avoid getting hit, you also hit me back.
I'm gonna go with dodge because I'm a little better at that. No modifiers.
No modifiers. In combat, it's very rare that. Oh boy!
There you go.
1 success.
1 success more than him because you got 40
I got
below.
4 successes.
I got 30 below.
Yeah.
Nice.
So not only do you successfully dodge out of the way, but you now have. And I'm gonna ask all 3 of you if you have tokens or like a D10 next to you, or a scrap piece of paper or whatever to write it on for your advantages in combat.
Okay.
Each time I give you an advantage, you've got a plus 10% on everything you do during the combat.
Okay.
But every turn that you do not gain a point, you lose a point.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple ways. Basically, it's, if you want to see it that way, as long as you keep the advantage on your side, as long as you do something that would be immediately advantageous for you, then you gain advantage.
Cool.
Such as ganging up on someone, repositioning to higher ground, or what have you, or succeeding in dodging out of the way of an attack. So now Galarian is engaged with that halfling, and then Philip turns around and says, "Where's Bella?" But nobody answers. How long does sleep last?
That is a fantastic question. What sleep says is you touch your opponent, sending them into a deep sleep. If the target has... they have to be... Oh, that's weird. I guess I would have needed to have actually cast shock on them, because sleep only works on people that are laying down, that are already prone or whatever.
What a weird
My bad.
What's shock?
They received the one stunned condition. Whatever. I really don't know what that means.
I have the conditions here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say that, but I'm going to need to find it in the book. Stunned. No, that's stupid. Not stunned. Stunned.
Only works for people that are already laying down.
Oh man.
Disoriented, incapable of taking an action on your turn, but you're capable of half your normal movement. You can defend yourself, but you cannot cast spells. You also have a -10 penalty to all tests. If you have any stun condition, any opponent trying to strike you in melee combat gains +1 advantage before rolling the attack. And she needs this. Oh, she needs a. Wow. That is okay. Stun is powerful. Because she needs to basically save every turn if she wants to try to not be stunned and give all of you a +10 to hit. And then once she's actually de-stunned, she becomes fatigued, which gives her a -10 until she sleeps. So what's my... Oh boy. Okay, 45. She has a 45. Bella is very, very... Yeah, she's not stunned anymore at the end of her turn. So she got back up, dusted herself off, shook her head, but she can't join the fray in the moment, which leaves all 4 of you and Gertrude up to play. So what do you want to do?
So they're all standing there by their 2 horses and a pony?
She's standing there by 2 horses and the pony, and the other 2 are in your face. So she's still about 10 yards from you.
Okay. And the Philip threw his weapon down and he picked up a sword?
Yeah.
And what is the
because
what is the little halfling holding?
A dagger.
Okay.
We can always gang up on the halfling real quick and just beat the shit out of him and then move on to...
Yeah, that's
gang up on the child.
That's exactly Anders' thought.
That
is
would
that
be
he,
something Anders would do.
yeah, is that he's not a brave man, but he's pretty sure he can kick a kid. So that's exactly what he does. I think, and I'll let you rule how the hell I roll this, because you can attack with shields, right?
Yes, you can.
So technically, his weapon is still down, it's still sheathed, right? His shitty sword. He's just gonna bull rush this halfling and bash her with the shield.
All right.
He 2-hand Captain America's her with the shield.
Yeah, so that would just be an attack roll. So
Okay.
in your on your sheet, you can click on melee basic.
Okay.
Is anyone else also fighing? Yes, Galarian,
I'm
you're fighting the halfling.
The halfling. So he gets... we get an advantage, right?
Yeah, you both of you gain an advantage.
Okay, so that's +10 forward.
I'm going to step away for just a second.
I'll do everybody else's turn in the meantime.
Yeah. All right, I'll be quick.
Okay. Unfortunate.
How did you fuck that up?
You can reroll if you like.
What is it? Fate points or fortune?
Fortune.
Points? Yeah, I'll spend.
They come back every time.
I'll spend a fortune and see what happens.
Yeah. Where's the hurt in that?
Yeah. with advantage. With some advantage on that. Whoops, not 100. That's too many advantage.
So Anders thinks to himself, I can take on a halfling. They're small and slow. And you pick up your shield and you charge at the halfling, realizing only too late that you've never actually fought a child before, and they are smaller than you thought. And your shield just goes, half an inch above the halfling's head, and just misses completely. Well, I say that, but that's not true. He needs to dodge. Because everything is an opposed check in this version of the game. So even though you missed, I might miss more. And thus I might hurt myself. Oh, wow. He doesn't have... No, wait. Halflings must have good... Yeah, okay. He's got 30. Sure. 30% chance. He fumbles.
What does that mean for me?
So, while you missed, he tried to get out of the way, scared that you might, ram into him with the shield.
That's a good fear.
It is. Fortunately for him, trying to get out of the way and out of Galarian's way. Whatever. Anders, can you roll a D100?
I can.
I'm back. What? Oh God, what did I miss?
Not too much yet.
Oh, the cameras are fucked up?
25. I fixed them. It's fine.
Oh, I broke them.
Yeah.
I do what I can.
25.
Wow. His dagger, he tried to... So instead of dodging, with his entire body, he lifted his dagger up to try to move your shield out of the way. And your shield bent the dagger's blade.
Nice. The blade array.
Yeah, and because it's a dagger, it means that it's unusable anymore.
Nice.
It's just yeah. I mean, you can probably cut through cloth, but you can't fight with it. It's been at almost 45 degrees.
Cool. All right, I'll take that.
And because of that, he also plays last in the initiative.
Nice.
Which isn't going to change much when we go back to their turn. He's just not going to play yet. He's going to play after all of you.
Yeah.
So you're ganging up on them. Is working well.
Yeah, so essentially you hear what sounds like a pubescent scream that cracks a few times as he charges towards it. It's like, as he bashes into
prone?
the halfling. And misses awfully. The halfling dodges out of the way, and you hear like the metal on metal noises, and that is what happens. As he goes, probably running past, right? He probably takes a few steps past before he can get that skid to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did the halfling happen to fall onto the ground in this commotion?
No, he actually, the fumble was that he broke his dagger on the rim of the shield.
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
So who else in the party wants to go?
Or Clementia can go first.
Yeah, I want to try to... I would say I probably missed going down, so I'm going to try and backhand him now with the club.
With the club?
Yeah.
He's going to try to parry you.
Yeah. I am just shitty at this.
Rerolls are a thing.
Yeah, let's do one. Let's reroll it.
Rerolls always work great.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
And I do not parry you.
Mm.
So what is the damage that your club does?
7, I think. 7. Yeah.
7 plus 1 because of the SL. See the SL mentioned in chat?
Yeah.
So you always, for everyone, you add that to your damage.
So 8.
So 8 points of damage and minus my armor. Oh, where did you hit? That would be a 62.
I'd probably hit shoulder
62. No, right in the body.
Right in the
right
body?
in the chest. Yeah, you have it on your character sheet, the little silhouette of the person. The numbers are there. And what you do to know where you've hit is you reverse the numbers. So 26 becomes 62, and that's where you hit.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of easy. But oh wow, he only takes 2 points of damage. That person is well armored. When you hit the body, you hear the sound of your club hitting something solid, not metal, but solid enough. Probably a leather breastplate or something, like boiled leather breastplate.
Yeah.
But still, it's that much closer to killing him. How about the other two? Oh, by the way, and you also gain an advantage.
Yay.
Okay. Did I get an advantage when Anders decided to attack the same person as I did?
It's if you attack the same person again, you have an advantage. So you were at 1. If you attack the halfling, you would be at 2.
Okay.
I just gave it to you, like I told you, +1 right away. But I should have waited until you.
Okay, so I will only have 1, or...
Well, you've got a +20 if you decide to attack the halfling,
okay.
or you keep your +10 if you do something else.
All right. In that case, and now is there some sort of awful penalty for using a ranged spell attack in melee range, or?
There is. Shooting at a smaller target, no. Target in self-cover. Shooting targets concealed. Shooting a little target, no. It's target in high cover. What is the spell?
I was looking at dart, but I'll cast shock if there's going to be some sort of penalty for casting dart in melee.
Oh, range combat. Range attacks cannot be opposed with melee skills unless you have a large enough shield, or if they are at point blank range. You can do it, absolutely. It's just he is allowed to dodge out of the way, or even if the halfling still had his dagger, could have tried to stab you with it.
Okay, in that case, I will...
But he doesn't have it.
I will cast dart, I guess. And that will be with a +20, correct?
And he's going to savagely try to bite your ankles.
Little ankle-biting bastard.
Well, he doesn't really have a weapon anymore.
I mean, if he wants to dive on the ground, I'll just cast sleep on him instead.
We both have a success.
I have more successes.
You have more successes than him, but because he was also trying to attack and he succeeded, so both go at the same time. But You'll notice that the fist of a halfling isn't the most damaging thing in the world. This is a magic missile with a damage of +0, so it only does 6 points of damage to his head, apparently.
Damn.
That's cool.
That
points to his face.
The halfling doesn't have a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the toughness of a half? I think they're fairly tough, though. Are they? No, they're average tough. So he still takes 3 points of damage from the magic missile that you just put your hand on his forehead and fired away. Mm-hmm. He punched you for a total of 3 non-damaging damage.
What does non-damage? What?
So the body part would be 50. So that's your body. Does your body have any armor?
No, I'm in robes.
Okay. If you non-damaging basically means that if you have armor, you double it.
Okay.
Because it's not. And what's your toughness bonus?
I mean, my wounds is 13. My toughness bonus is 3.
So you take 0 points of damage.
Oh, cool.
He punched you in the chest and you just, maybe you, I don't know, lost your breath for a split second. But nothing that, yeah.
I see.
So you also gain an advantage.
Nice. So I'm at 3 advantages now.
Yeah, but he gains an advantage.
Wait, why does he gain an advantage too?
Because he succeeded in his attack.
So if you succeed in an attack, you get advantages? Okay.
Yeah, you want to try to... Basically, a good way for you as a mage to generate advantages for yourself is to pelt people at range.
Okay.
Because then they can't retaliate, so you keep the advantage, and they don't get any.
Gotcha. All right. I can work with that.
It would now be Gengulf's turn.
I would like to heft my dagger and shout out, "Why are we attacking the wardens?" And then throw my dagger at the dude who had the pistol. Philip? Yeah.
All right.
I love how he questions it, then goes along with it.
Why are we attacking them? Ah!
Yep, pretty much. So is that ballistic skill?
That would be ballistic skill
Okay.
against my dodge. Well, Philip's dodge anyway, because you're too far away for him to try to parry you or something.
Ooh.
If you don't reroll, I dodge out of the way.
I think even if I reroll, you dodge out the way, to be honest.
No, because it's a dodge is whoever has the most successes.
Yeah, true.
Oh, mind you, I rolled a 1, so I already have 2.
So you have 2. And it's not a terrible roll. I don't think it's worth a reroll.
All right, so the dagger just goes flying by.
My dagger!
Jesus Christ.
I pull out my other dagger.
All right.
I have 2.
Good.
I was going to say Clementia, but it's not Clementia. Gertrude says, okay, now that's enough. And she is going to give all of you a blessing. Not that one, because that just sucks. Let me check. Conscience, courage. Well, I'm going to ask you. You know what? Instead of just deciding, you will decide out of game which blessing you want to have between conscience, courage, fortune, righteousness, wisdom, or wit.
Fortune.
I know what none of these do, but I like the sound of fortune.
Then y'all want a blessing of fortune?
Do we all have to pick the same, or can
it's the same blessing for everyone.
then yeah, fortune.
I'm down.
All right. She is going to try to bless you because, I mean, doesn't mean she'll succeed. All right.
She might not be as good at, blessings as I am at spells,
She's got a 60.
I am better than her then.
You're an elf. You're better than everyone at everything.
Except
But you don't show it.
Oh my god, she rolled a 1.
We're so blessed.
Well, the blessing affects only one person, but for each 20 by which you beat the number, you get to add another person. So I would have asked you guys to choose, but since I rolled a 1 again for some reason, y'all are blessed with fortune, meaning that your next failed check is rerolled for free.
Ooh,
Okay.
Hashtag blessed.
that fancy.
Yep. And that is going to give everyone a +1 advantage.
Okay.
As you feel the light of Verena just guide you, you know that what you're doing, despite it being sort of murder and ganging up on a child,
Sort of murder.
you are on the side of the law. You are righteous, and you should. Verena wants you to succeed. Clementia as a fence, it's kind of uncomfortable.
A little bit.
This Verena is like, I want you to succeed, but you're going to go in jail. You're going to go to jail at some point. But still, the law is on your side.
You're doing great, scumbag. Whoa, whoa.
Hey, they were the scumbags first. I just detected it. I'm helping.
The halfling is not playing right now, but Philip, drawing the elaborate sword that Johan used to have, is going to try to slash away at Clementia. Clementia, do you want to try to dodge or parry? Remember, whatever you do, you still have your advantage.
I'm gonna parry. I'm gonna YOLO a little bit.
All right.
It's not the best decision, but I'm feeling blessed. So then I would roll a melee with what for the modifier?
+1.
So plus 10.
Yeah, +10, sorry. And remember, if you fail, it's re-rolled automatically.
Ooh.
Well, I succeeded in hitting you anyway.
Yeah. A little light stabbing.
But I got that's a 27, 37, 2 degrees of success. So you are going to take, what's the damage of a hand weapon again? 4, I think, 4 plus strength bonus?
Sure.
I'll go with 4, just because it's easier. And 4 plus 4 plus 2. So you would take 10 points of damage, Clementia, to your 71 to your body. So do you have armor on your body?
That is.
I know one of you. Well, Anders has armor on his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have armor on your body.
I don't. Yeah, I think I just have basic clothes.
But instead of 10, because you have, toughness of 30, you take 7 wounds. Are you still up? You're going to do your damage nonetheless, but out of curiosity, are you still up?
This is the part I always have trouble with in 4E. Where am I looking for that?
Wounds. Can you guys help her where the wounds are? Because I'm going to look at the crit.
It's right below encumbrance.
Just below the ambitions.
Yeah.
You all answered at once. What was that? Oh, okay. At 13. So I'm still up.
You're still up. And, well, looks like you're critting. So...
It hurt. It's more than half, but I'm still up.
Wow, it's automatically... Okay, so you're going to deal damage. He takes a critical wound regardless of what happens. Even if all of the damage is soaked by his armor or what have you, he would still take a wound because you have stricken through. True. What's the damage of your sword? That club.
We decided 8.
8 plus 4, that's 12. 2 is 20, so that's on his left arm, because everyone hits the left arm. On a 20. All right, so no, wait, 8. 12 points of damage to his left arm. He doesn't have anything. No, he has something. So -6, that's 6 points of damage plus a crit. I think Philip falls dead.
Wow.
I'm bleeding everywhere, but I accomplished something.
Do you want to roll a D100 to see how you broke his
Whole body?
Broke his arm? Well, yeah, probably.
13.
13? He takes an extra... Oh,
I just walked.
He's going to bleed to death. Basically, he's still up. He's still up, but at the beginning of his turn, he would lose his last wound. And I don't do the thing where you guys can live at 0 wound. By the way, it's just everything that comes in becomes a critical.
Yeah.
But for everything that's like monster related or bad guys or opponents, screw it. The entire party gets +1 advantage because you've successfully dispatched someone.
Nice.
And Clementia, you get another one because you succeeded.
I'm at 5 advantage right now. This feels pretty great.
Yep. And because a third of the party fell down, Bella's gonna roll her cool.
And she's fatigued right now, correct?
Yep, she has -10. Bella says, fuck it, out loud, fuck it. He gets on a horse and flees. the halfling doesn't play yet. So it's all of you.
Badass.
I'm gonna just try and dart him to the face again.
Go ahead, kill a kid.
Okay.
I mean, let's just. It looks like a kid. Not.
Yeah, I know. It's sorry. You're killing Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah.
That's
I'm fine
fine.
So that's gonna be
4 plus your willpower bonus.
yeah. So 8.
Again, straight to the body. You just
The first one was to the head. This
the head. So you have one hand on the head, and then one hand on the chest, and that poor little halfling goes flying.
I feel kind of redeemed.
That's
You
something
know,
you don't-
from
Well, I would say achievement unlocked for the going in the back and stunning her. By the way, we all did that through private chat. That's why you didn't hear about it. But yeah, they're all 2 of them lie dead at your feet. And now that they've stopped moving, now that you're looking at them from your point of view, you notice the same thing Anders noticed earlier. They are wearing a mismatched uniform,
Mhm.
which was probably belonged to Johan.
Did you see that? I charged right in there. Yeah. They're
After me.
it's the dead guy's clothes. It's Gango, to answer your question.
Yeah.
What?
It's the dead guy's clothes.
The river and the horse. Clemencia's gonna kind of fall over somewhere near the priestess, hoping she could help her, clutching her cape to her.
Can
wounds.
someone help her with that?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Just a flesh wound?
Yeah. Kind of curls up.
I think she can't. She looks at you and says,
It's fine.
Verena is not a healing goddess in any way, but I can try to tend to your wounds. I know a bit of first aid when I was an initiate, if you don't mind. Also, the DM isn't using the old rules where I could actually kill you and you go into shock if I fail the first aid check. So that might be good for you.
Clemencia is gonna pull out the roll of bandages she has on her.
I have my tools. I could nail you back together.
I don't.
I don't want to be nailed by an interview. No
Phrasing, Gandalf. Phrasing.
I forgot Clemencia has a roll of bandages, so she's gonna
How bad's that stab wound?
toss it at the priest.
Ooh.
I would say I'm not feeling so great.
'Cause I
She
can-
uses the bandages, but she uses them wrong.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of like assist mechanic in Warhammer where players can give bonuses?
Yes. If you want, what I'll do is I'll reroll with a +20 if someone helps. But in order to help, you need to have at least 1 point in the required skill. So in this case, they're both they're advanced skills.
Okay, then I know nothing.
Can I argue that I have, which I do definitely have, because I have a fishing rod. I have technically, basically what amounts to a sewing kit. I have a fishing line and a hook, and I have outdoor survival. Can I stitch her up?
That sounds like a good argument.
You are going to get infected.
Oh, for sure.
You
But you're not gonna die yet.
Maybe.
all right. So you are going to basically render your fishing rod useless, but yes, you can.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask you to roll with the +20 of everyone trying to help you,
Okay.
making sure that.
Yeah, I'd rather not eat for a day than lose, the money.
You say that now.
The money. Wow.
But conserve was cast on the rations, so there's that.
Yes.
All right, so +20 to outdoor survival.
That's true. I'm the sugar mama of the group.
Come on. Fuck. So bad. You know what? I'm gonna fortune.
Wait,
I'm gonna fortune that one. I'm gonna
Okay.
reroll.
Don't you get a free reroll, or is that only in
Yes, you get a free reroll because of
dope.
the blessing lasts until. Wait, I think the blessing lasts forever.
Sweet.
No, okay. There's a duration. All right, it's 6 rounds.
Okay, so I have.
So it lasts for 30
and
seconds or
free
so.
reroll.
So
I
yeah,
was about to
So
say,
the
huh?
free reroll works with 3 successes.
good. You
Good at that. Ugh.
you're gonna regain 3 wounds.
Okay, so that puts me back at 13 minus 7.
So you see Anders come over. He's like, oh no, that's not. None of this is right. Let me in there. And he like tears the bandages, just rips them, just pulls them. He's like, I have this. Hold on. And he like pulls out like the fishing line, and then puts it through the thing,
She's just, like,
and then ties it
in shock
on.
while she's
And it's
watching him.
legit a fishing hook. That he's just
Oh,
pulling it through. And because it's the plastic like fishing line, or it's not plastic, I guess it'd be sinew. So it's like it makes that noise. It's like
God.
flesh. He's like, you'll be fine.
I'm
No
not drunk
anesthesia.
enough for this.
That's all right.
I am going to say, I'm going to go ahead and say at some point I puke in the assistance.
That's fair.
Is it on me? Please don't say it.
No.
No, I will have found a bucket or like dived off to the side.
And
Gertrude.
shield.
I'm not going to kill your character by role playing.
Happened.
I puke on your wounds. You now have 4 days left to live. No, you.
Or is it magic vomit?
It's algae vomit, so it's probably sterile or something.
It's better than regular vomit.
Yeah, it's antiseptic. That being said, Gertrude does ask you. You know, she tells you you might want to go see a barber surgeon when we get to Uberstrike.
Yeah, I'll be seeing somebody. It's fine. I just. If you're gonna play road warden, you shouldn't be taxing the rivers. Am I right, Anders?
Yeah. No, that's the river warden's job.
Thank you.
Don't picket that. Or move around a lot.
Imogen's gonna like sloppily put the bandages back on top of what he did. Slightly better than what's her face, but not great.
Just so you know, I can't fish anymore. So there's that.
We'll figure it
How
out.
many days out are we from the city?
Technically, you're a day away from the suburbs. So tomorrow night you'll be able to eat at the coaching inn.
Okay, and we do have rations, so
You do have rations, so you're not. That is unless something else happens.
foreshadowing. Yay!
While this is happening and they're stitching up Clementia, Gangles, what do you do?
I would like to go and get that gun, please, sir.
You pick up
And
a flintlock pistol.
I have no interest in watching a disturbing fishery surgery, so I'm going to go straight off and have a look through what they've got.
Through everything?
Yeah.
All right. You find the following on them. Philip had the pistol, of course, a leather jack, which is a piece of armor that gives you 1 armor point to your arms and your body. Essentially, that long leather coat is what he had. And he also had the leather coat comes with, oddly enough, a sort of a breastplate, a hard-boiled breastplate. It's just part of what protects you, but it's like if this coat came sewed to the armor.
Okay.
Which makes it looks good. It's probably worth a tad more, but not that much. But it does have a certain appeal, a certain class to it. Of course, the flintlock pistol.
Yes.
That you
Jingle his
pick up.
pockets. Any money in there?
Yep. I'm just gonna tell you right now. The pistol has a range of 20. a damage of +8. And it's got the reload 1 quality.
So
Which means, real quick like that, takes a while to reload.
It has a range of
Plus-
20.
Yeah, range of 20.
Damage of 8. Okay.
Yeah. And you are lucky because I think the pistol doesn't have any misfire.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's called pistol. I'll look it up after the game. The hand weapon, so the sword that Philip had, which belonged to Johan before, is just a very fancy sword. Meaning that it is worth twice the regular price. If you sell this sword, it is worth 2 gold crowns.
Okay.
Hot damn.
Not not the most expensive thing, but still.
But nice.
But still, one of the most expensive things we've ever seen, except for dementia.
The dagger is broken, of course. And on the horses, you are going to find a few other things. Wait.
Convention's just gonna shout out, is there any alcohol over there?
Sure might. There just might.
Anders like stands from your probably still slightly bleeding body, and he reaches around and he pulls out a very, very fancy flask and hands it to you and says, "Don't drink it all.
Where did you get this?
It's mine. It's the Rodmeister family heirloom. You can tell by the prestigious Rodmeister family crest there on it."
This is, no offense.
Something.
Very nice.
I know, if you look closely, it's 2 rods. One's a fishing rod, and you'll figure the rest out. Just
Yeah.
it's good spear stuff.
It takes back a long time.
I misspoke earlier. You can keep the coat with the cool armor under, and I'll just switch something around. There is a mail shirt.
Male shirt.
Yes. MAIL. Mail shirt. Which covers only the torso. So we'll just say that he had that under his leather thing because that works. The horses have on them, the pony actually had attached to its saddlebags a crossbow with 10 bolts. You also find 4 shots for the pistol.
So I have 15 now.
A horse and a pony.
Have you got a pony?
Well, this wanted a pony.
Gango, you can have the pony.
And
I want that crossbow, though.
See? I got it all. You guys are too busy stitching you up.
Excuse me. I bled for that pony of yours now, sir. Do you know how much I can sell that thing for?
I think it's telling a joke.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, oh dear.
you also find the following.
Oh shit.
Okay.
35 brass pennies.
Oh, ballin'.
14 silver pieces.
You're gonna share some of that cash, aren't you?
You have no idea I have this yet, thank you.
Oh. Yeah.
I'll thank you to back off, sir. You're trying to help with the surgery.
He's throwing up.
It's a back and forth. Throwing up, helping, throwing up more.
And then probably the rest that you find is most probably like the loot that these brigands have accumulated over time or that was left from something. Probably not belonging to Johan, but who knows? there is a set of dwarf-crafted pewter money scales. So like a tiny set of scales. Count money in pewter. And because it's dwarven crafted, it's basically just like bulky and square with like runes on it. It's got a cool design. There is an old gold crown.
Ooh. Like a literal
Grimmied
crown
with
or like a
age.
coin?
No, a coin.
Okay.
It's just old and stained a bit. So it must have been, the like rainy day funds of someone. There is a pigskin case containing a rusty knife, a flask of brandy, tooth pliers, spiked tongs, and branding irons.
Could I get like a little block of text in the chat? So
Yeah. There's also a pigskin jacket stamped with the stylized design of a laurel wreath, sorry, and a bit of bone engraved with the design of a lion rampant.
It's a torturous kit, that is.
I'll put it in the Roll20 chat so others can also see it a bit.
All I can picture is Gandalf in like a 1980s shoplifting montage where he's just wearing, like we turn and he's just wearing all the clothes. He has it all on and he just tries to nonchalantly walk back to the boat. What do you got there? I'll thank you to fuck off.
How about none of your fucking business?
I had this the whole time.
This is ancient Goebel heirlooms.
And on every piece of equipment, there's a label clearly writing like property of Johann Strauss.
Crossed out and says Goebel.
So after going through the after going through all of this stuff, pockets bulging slightly, and like a crossbow in arms along with the sword, and like probably like the jacket like slung over my shoulder. I turn back around while they're still probably just finishing up the surgery, and I said, "The pony's name is Natjack."
That's nice, Gandalf. That's very nice.
I'm willing to share some of this with you guys.
I'm decent with the bow. Either of you good with the sword?
I think Anders should get the sword.
We should sell it.
Well, your sword is shit.
Yeah, but so is my skill at the sword.
Well, yeah, but at least
Sword is better than shit skill with a shit sword.
Yeah,
you can make a sword as shiny as you want. I can't use it.
Whatever.
Well, why have a bloody sword then?
Because I didn't have one before, and there were zombies. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, right, but surely a better sword would be better than a worse. I don't understand your thinking.
All right, I'll take it. Whatever.
Yes, thank you.
Does anyone want this?
Whatever people here don't want Gandalf, we'll sell when we get to town for a good price. So I'll make sure that.
Well, I'll carry most of it, but
You find anything else in there?
yeah.
You mind if I get that jacket?
What, the mail or the?
No, just the leather one.
Just leather.
If you wear an armor like that and you fall in the river, you might not make it back out. So I don't want to risk it.
Okay.
Also, what was this, Gale? Is that what you called him? I wasn't listening. I'm sorry. The bad thief. Here, take this and apologize so when we get back to Sledland.
What?
And he hands you the rusty sword you stole.
Um,
he said, take this and apologize when we return.
I kind of like look over at the priestess of justice that we're with. What are you talking about?
Yeah, remember the time that you stole this?
No, I never did any such thing. And I'm like,
walked in and I was having a conversation.
I'm trying to
Anders.
jerking my head.
She
like,
tosses the flask back at him.
I don't understand.
Hey,
We just murdered in front of her.
We exacted justice on hoodlums. We
However you wanted to paint it.
we would never break the law because the law is just.
He just
Clearly stressing words.
He just looks at Clementia.
Clementia just looks away.
I don't even know what he's saying about it.
Can we keep this stuff though?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
There's an old Rodmeister proverb that I've heard growing up my entire life. It is finders keepers.
this is not exactly how it's supposed to be, but desperate times and all that.
Yeah, finders keepers. Found it, now we keep it.
She turns to Galarian and says, I don't know how you elves operate in your lands, but in the Empire, you should not take things away from people. I'm hoping you will bring this back to Sledlung or face the consequences.
See? Everything's fine.
Of course.
You shouldn't steal, girl.
It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
No, it's not.
In this case.
Clementia laughs and it cringes at the same time. It hurts to laugh.
You are all upstanding citizens of the Empire. She keeps repeating to herself.
You see, though, priestess, how easy it is for people to try and push over people pretending to be of the Empire, making up things, because of how often things are passed in the kingdom. This is another problem because of our main problem.
Yes, I realize now that whatever your Graf is doing certainly has some other consequences, unforeseen as they may be.
Plus, priestess, I'm pretty sure these guys weren't even real wardens, because they were wearing they had bits of warden armor, but not the whole warden armor on them.
Gandalf,
Don't
remember
pick up on
the
that.
dead guy on the horse in the river? This is his stuff. Look at the name on the things in your pocket.
You wrote his name on it.
That's the dead guy from the river. They stole this stuff.
I knew that. Yeah. No, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Like, you know, it's.
No, it's a shame.
Yeah.
I really.
I'm pretty sure they're bandits or something, right?
They were, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're probably prowling the woods and the roads between Sledlung and Ubersreik, unchecked.
They can't do it because they're dead now.
Well, not all.
Well, most of them.
Hopefully that was the only ones. I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Let's hope,
But
because
still-
if it's not, then that one's going to go tell the rest of them, and then the rest of them are going to come look for us. So,
That could
Yes.
be a problem.
and
So,
he looks to
I
Gandalf's pony and says, so the roads might not be the best place to be right now.
oh no, we have to leave the bar.
Wait, are you saying I have to leave Natterjack?
I'm not saying it. I'm just make this decision yourself, boy.
I want to bring Natterjack with us.
Is it gonna fit
I
on
don't think the
boat?
pony's gonna fit on the boat.
It's a rowboat.
It was a new boat. I had to ask.
Can I bring Natterjack with us? Is there space?
I don't think it's a space issue. I think it's a weight issue. It's a horse. It's a tiny horse and 6 people.
If I could bring Natterjack with me, I'm bringing him. Wait, I have to check sex. Him or her?
It's a her. It's a mare.
Clementia's gonna grab the flask back from Anders, take another slug, and hand it back to him.
Gertrude's going to intercept that flask and take a swig.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now you know.
Now, Gandalf, I know that you're suddenly attached to a random pony that we've just met. Maybe we could, and she turns to Anders, maybe we could tie a tether to the prow of the ship and have the horse follow us from the riverbank. mean, if we can bring both horses in town, I would assume you would like to sell the actual horse for some provisions and new clothes, for example.
The pony, though. Clement just says very gently and slightly drunk.
Well, I figure you won't want to sell the pony because apparently it has a name now.
Wouldn't tying these horses and have them following us on the bank slow us down?
Not if you tie him to the front and have him lead us.
What?
Tie him to the front of the boat. Have the pony walk. Lead us. Then I don't have to row, and I can sit back. It's like a horse-drawn carriage, but it's a horse-drawn boat.
And what of obstacles on the bank that wouldn't exist on the river?
Listen, you take the pony or you don't take the pony, I don't care. Just get in the boat.
Well, I really don't care about the pony.
You could, Anders, and that's true. If you manage to have one of the two steeds cross the river, you could attach a rope to the two of them. Since they would be pulling you along both banks, the boat would stay more or less straight in the center, not drift constantly to one side.
Well, there you go, Gangoff. That's your option.
Okay, that sounds good.
You make
Let's
it
do
happen. You make it happen, and we can go, or you don't, and we can go.
Mr. Anders, I don't know much about boats.
I don't
or
know much about
rivers.
horses, so I'll tie the rope here and give you two, and you figure out the rest.
Yeah, I need someone to roll like animal handling to get a horse to cross a river at night.
I'm already getting in the boat.
I don't have it.
I have animal charm.
I have charm animal. I don't have animal hand.
Charm animal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's charm animal that I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's what is y'all's at? Mine's at 45.
Mine's 29. And untrained.
So I should do that. Okay.
Yes.
In her
Well,
drunken state-
can you? Are you able to get a horse across the river with your wounds?
Oh, I think she's gonna make the boys do it, but she's gonna calm the animals down.
Okay.
It's just
With her-
I mean, she could plenty by just, riding the horse.
It's true.
The river is deep, but if you're riding a horse, she'll probably have water up to her, I don't know, midsection maybe? So right under where the scar is, but as long as nothing bad happens, and nothing bad happens, actually.
I'm
What's up,
getting
the
some
Dunray?
distinct
Do it
Oregon
yourself.
Trail vibes right now, so I'm just waiting for us to die of dysentery.
Clementia's going first, clearly.
It's fine. She gets the horses in place.
And they start pulling the boat, and it's actually a good thing because now it means that some of you can sleep.
So we
And
don't have to
you know,
stop.
Am I
you
still-
don't have to stop for a while.
Am I still futzing with the horses, or am I back on the boat?
Oh, I'll say you're back on the boat.
She's gonna pass right the hell out.
It's far the best. Alright, so we got everything in here. We got two ponies. We got a horse and a pony, whatever. And we're on our way. Yeah?
I'm checking things off a list here, and I mean, Clementia, did you pick up the crossbow?
I gave Clementia the crossbow. Yeah.
Okay, good, because that counts. I'll count it as a bow. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a sideways bow.
It's the kill
Yeah,
shot.
It's
I have it's got points. I have more points in a regular bow, but I have 31 in crossbow, so I should be okay at it.
yeah.
And
Well, you can use it on trained. It's just if it had any qualities, it won't. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have any quality in this case. It's just the crossbow.
Just
I assume I can have reload my.
Oh, yeah. So outside of combat, I'll assume that you always reload your firearms, your ranged weapons, all of that is taken care of.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not,
How
Yes,
many bullets does he have for that gun?
like 15.
right now 15 because he bought 10. I don't remember when.
I had 5. You said there were 10 in the in the
dwarf.
the saddlebags horse places, and then the dwarf had 5, which I nicked.
The saddlebags had 5.
You said 10.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so I have 10.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the smartest guy, but the highwayman had a crossbow and a gun. So probably stay low in the boat. Now they're not rowing. And
But
he
they're
said-
dead.
Right, well, 2 of the 3 are dead.
The other one ran away
Right, but
and left the crossbow and the pistol.
you're right.
And
right.
what if she has friends?
Or a crossbow in her saddlebags. She ran away on a horse. Point
Did
is,
she run
I
away
don't.
on a horse?
Yeah, she mounted a horse and got the fuck
Okay.
out of there. Point is, I don't want you to fall asleep and get your head shot.
Uh,
Most importantly, he pushes you lower. Most importantly, I don't want to get my head shot, and he just begins to scooch underneath as far down in the boat as he can.
she just passes out anyway.
Perfect. All right.
You make your way to the outskirts of Uberstrike. Instead of arriving at the end of the day, you'll basically arrive in the morning, as people would get up. Farmers would probably start going out into their fields and all that. But that's not the case. Well, somewhat the case. All of you make a perception check.
I'm so good at these.
The higher you roll, the better it is.
Is there any modifiers?
None of them. I'm just going through success levels.
Okay, because I have the trait something eyes or something acute sense.
Oh,
Yeah, which means that if you succeed, you get an extra success level.
Okay.
I'm gonna re-roll mine because
Sure. Failure. Clementia succeeds. Gangle succeeds.
Oh, you know what? It's at the end of the day. I'm gonna reroll too. Why not? Perception. Bam. Still. A
Oh yeah, I've
failure.
got that. Plus. Why not? Or is that
Okay.
already worn off?
No. Go ahead.
Okay.
No. I mean the blessing wore off. It's been like
Okay.
5 hours. But if you still had a fortune point, you could.
No, I already used that to try and save the stealth.
All right, that's true. You're an elf. You don't have much.
I do not.
There are farmers in their field, tending the fields. A few of them, anyway, a handful. Clementia and Gangolf, you notice that something strange with the livestock.
Oh no.
It's not moving.
Not okay.
And you notice, like, one of the farmers just walks up to a cow, starts eating it raw.
Oh no.
No.
fuck.
And then around you, you notice that the people walking in the street, they walk in this very jerky motion.
And I'm going to assume I see black wind everywhere.
Slow. Yeah, now that you open up your eyes through the second sight and you hear coming from Uberstrike, you see the towers of Uberstrike, the bridges in the distance, not too far away. There seems to be people on the ramparts fighting these like peasants. There's not a lot. There's not like hundreds and hundreds of undead or what have you. But it's still an entire village the size of Sledlong. So we're talking about around 50-ish souls that just decided to up and try to enter town, to enter the city of Uberstrike this morning.
Oh, lovely.
That's where we're going to end tonight.
So does this count as getting the priestess to town alive?
Well, okay, I'm going to ask you this question. Do you stop and get off the boats, or do you wait until you reach the gates of Uberstrike?
I would vote
No.
for we just keep swimming.
If anything, I lean forward to the boat and grab the ropes and just yah the horses so they fucking charge towards Uber.
Yeah. So yes, you get her
It's
alive
a goddamn horde of zombies.
to Uberstrike.
Oh man.
So you got all of your goals and the party goal. And if I'm right, with all the bonus XP you'll get from all of that, you are going to start your second career next episode.
Ooh.
That's exciting.
Ooh.
So for everyone watching, this means that the fisherman will no longer be a fisherman. The fence will no longer be a fence. The engineer will no longer be an engineer. The apprentice wizard might not be
I'll
an
be a
apprentice wizard.
I just won't be an apprentice.
I will actually still be an engineer.
Well, I don't know. You probably will get like 150 XP tonight.
Oh.
I'll still be an engineer.
Oh yeah, okay, but sorry. Instead of being an apprentice engineer, you'll be whatever. You knew what I meant.
Guys, there's an entire horde of zombies.
They're being, mowed down by the city watch of Uber's Reik. They're up on ramparts and just firing at them.
It's still a lot of zombies, Simon.
Oh yeah. It's still an entire village worth of zombies.
Still a whole horde of them. Still.
It's fine.
Oh, and that black wind is coming out of Uber's Reik.
God damn it. All right, guys. Okay. This was episode 3 of Warhammer Fantasy. I don't have any fantasies. I have sadness, and one of us has sepsis.
It's very ironic.
I'll be okay.
Don't forget nightmares.
Yeah, I'm terrified. This game has been fun. This game is fun. It is crunchy as all hell, but it is still a super fun game. I really like this. And Simon, I'm really enjoying your DM style. And this game went lewd fast, and I blame Cherry entirely.
It's always
It's 110% her fault, and she encourages it. That being said, let's go around, do our introductions, and go host a friend of us. We'll start with Cherry, since she wasn't here last time. Cherry, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
I'm Cherry Babam. I should be hitting the seas of Atlas sometime this week over on Dark Side RP. Been actually playing a doctor over there. If I could have my character over there heal this one, I'd be in good shape. And that's my plans for the week.
Nice. Let's jump right over to Sheep. Sheep, who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Hey there, guys. I'm Sheepdog. I do things, and if you don't believe me, prove me wrong.
Wow. That's a tagline if I've ever heard one.
Fair enough.
Make sure you keep that one going.
You can't beat that one.
I know, right?
Now we just need to have the meme with Sheep holding the coffee mug that says, I do things, change my mind.
Yeah, change my mind.
Oh, God.
Let's jump right over to Justin. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
All right. I'm Justin. I work with Mage Hand Press as the community manager. I do the tweets. I set up sales for our products, and I try and keep tabs on the community for what we should be building next. So right now there's actually a sale to celebrate our first convention, which was PAX South. And we have 30% off everything at the Mage Hand Press store and Drive-Thru RPG. So if you're interested in our stuff and you haven't joined us on Patreon yet, or you haven't bought any of our products yet, now's the perfect time to check them out. That's going to be at store.magehandpress.com or drivethrurpg.com.
Nice. Sweet. Let's jump right over to Simon. Last but not least, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet?
Yes.
And what are you up to?
Simon at _DM on Twitter, WonderingDM on Twitch. I am currently posting the schedule in the chat, so it's easier for everyone. But I'm basically streaming every day of the week starting next week. I'm starting a Witcher campaign over on For Restarter. And then otherwise we have Dark Matter with Justin here. I have Star Wars on Tuesdays. On Friday it's my Witcher game, and you will not want to miss. If you're a Witcher fan, you want to watch the game Friday, because I have scored the best guest ever, which is Triss Merigold herself.
Oh.
How dare you not invite me to play in this?
That's awesome.
I didn't know you back then.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yes, and I'm hoping that certain few people are going to watch it. Anyway, it's going to be amazing. And if you like me trying to butcher a Southern American accent, watch Pulp Cthulhu on Saturdays. It's hilarious.
Now I'm in. That's Praxis game, right?
That's Praxis game, yeah. And on Sundays, I'm over on unMadeGaming, Soul Bear RPG, playing the Shattered Eye, which is a Greco-Roman inspired, very, very deadly D&D 5e game.
Nice. Guys, before we get the hell out of here, I will say if you guys like what you see here and you want to support the channel, please go check out our Patreon. That is the best way to do that. We are so close to our second goal of $500 a month, so go check that out and help us push over the goal. Speaking of awesome things you guys can support, this Saturday, yep, my math's correct. This Saturday is the first official 12-hour streamathon of the charity, the Extra Life charity streamathons we do every year. Last year we raised $10,000 as a team. We're trying to break that record this year. So this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, you guys can come watch 12 hours straight of tabletop madness. And you guys can donate to a good cause, which is sick kids not being sick anymore. It's pretty great.
Mike,
yes,
you need some giveaways for that?
I could use some giveaways, and they could very well be Mage Hand Press. In which case, you guys get some free stuff from Mage Hand Press.
Hey, you know what? I can tell you right now that I will get you some giveaways for this.
Done. Now we have giveaways. We have all kinds of fun things happening. So go check it out this Saturday. And while you're here in the giving mood, let's go give some love to our friends Encounter Roleplay, currently playing some of my favorite game, City of Mist. So go check them out and give them all of your hot sticky raid love. And from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.
Bye.